Welcome back, Queen! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this episode. Oh, this is so beautiful because this episode is our very first one for season 2. But no, not only is it our first one for season 2, but it is also our rebranding from the According to Annie right through to the Creatress of Freedom. And so today I really want to share with you about the evolution of the Creatress of Freedom and how I came up with that name and why I've changed things. And I really want to share this with you so that you can get an understanding of the evolution that has gone on here. And oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for every single one of you that has tuned in and listened to season 1. That was incredible. It was so incredible. I absolutely love this podcast, and I love connecting with you, and I love so much when you shoot me a DM or you email me back and you say, oh my gosh, like I listened to that episode and I got so much out of it. Like, thank you for sharing. And it means the world to me when you really do give me feedback, because at the end of the day, I'm here to be of service. I'm here to support you in all of the ways possible. And the best way for me to be able to do that is to hear your feedback. So please, I welcome it. If there is a particular topic or there's something that you're struggling with and you just really wish that someone could talk on this topic, you can stay anonymous, but please let me know, because it would mean the absolute world to me to really make sure that I'm supporting you. And that really leads into what this podcast is really all about, and this new branding. And so over the years, I've reflected, and I'm so grateful for my journey. And, as I really look back on the journey of what has been and where we're at right now, I can see how much I've shifted and how much I've evolved, and how it's less about me and more about you guys, and really being able to show you how to become the creatress of freedom, right? It's that my ego is out of the picture. And that's one thing that I've really noticed is with this really big shift is with the original name branding of According to Annie. Now I can see that perhaps there was a little bit of ego that was behind that, and that's okay. Like, that's all part of the journey. And I really wanted to share my story, and I know that I have a pretty unique upbringing, life, just like you, because you wouldn't be listening to this podcast if you also didn't have a unique upbringing or a unique life that you have journeyed on. And so what I can really see is that the Creatress of Freedom has been birthed out of really making sure that it's here to support you. And moving forward, I really want to bring in a lot of other women or even men, that want to come in and really join this space of this topic of becoming the Creatress of Freedom, right? And so what does that even mean? What does the Creatress of Freedom even mean? How did I even come up with that name? Well, the word creatress, let's break it down. So the word creatress in itself, the definition, according to the dictionary, is a woman or goddess who creates something. And I mean, that's so fitting. Like, I'm always calling you up into your highest timeline of being a queen. And so I feel like this is like super fitting for where we're at, right? We are being the creatress. And you hear me talk a lot about that you create your reality, you create your life. And so I figured that using that word, creatress, creatrix, like whatever that looks like for you, but creatress is really just being a woman or a goddess that is creating something. And what are we creating? Freedom, baby! So when we talk about freedom, this is like truly just so deep to my heart, because freedom throughout your entrepreneurial journey, I can get emotional. Throughout your entrepreneurial journey, freedom starts off about money, right? And don't get me wrong, money is great. Money creates a lot of choices, it relieves a lot of stress, it creates a lot of opportunities for you, and it allows you to make an impact in the world. But then all of a sudden, once you start to chase that money and you get the money, everything starts to shift. And what you thought was going to make you happy actually doesn't make you happy. It doesn't actually change anything. And it's because you were seeking something from externally rather than internally. And so this is how this journey has come about, because for myself, and I know a lot of women in my world, we've been sold from society to chase the money, chase the money, chase the time. That's what's going to bring happiness. And look, yes, it does to a certain extent, but it's actually what the money allows you to do that gives you the fulfillment on the inside. And so if you're not using the money to make an impact or to really tap into what your bigger purpose is, the money kind of falls flat. And that was a huge reality shift that I had during COVID, between like 2020 and 2021, right before I sold my salon. I was making more money than I had ever had. I had like the most amount of money in my bank account. And like, I'm talking, like $100,000 saved, like in my actual bank account. And I had never had that kind of money before, but yet something was missing. Something just was not right. And it really made me question everything. It really made me question, what is the point? Like, what is the point? And I also remember with my mentor at that time, I had a half-day training session with her at her house, and we were sitting down and we were talking about the next goals. And the next goal was like a financial goal. And she said to me, like, what do you want to do with this money? And I was like, I'd really like to buy an apartment. And so we worked out like how much this apartment was going to be in Queensland, right on the water. It was probably going to be like 1.5 million that I would need to look at to invest in a property. And then we worked backwards of how much work I would need to do in order to create that kind of money. And I said to her, okay. And she's like, oh, you don't seem very lit up by it. And I was like, I'm not sure I really want the apartment that much. And she's like, really? Why? And I was like, because the amount of work that you're telling me that I have to do to be able to achieve that kind of money, I'm just not prepared to do that. I had come out the other side of this. I had left my long-term relationship. I had gone on this like massive, big spiritual journey of like, I got so curious about absolutely everything. And I started to question the status quo, because the current society was not fulfilling me. The current society's belief was not fulfilling the need that I actually thought was going to be met. And that's when I really questioned everything. And going on this big spiritual journey of like, what's the point? And I remember saying that to my mentor. I remember saying to her, what's the point? What's the point in having all this money? Like, I have all this money, but yet like I'm still not happy. And she's like, well, that's why you've got to find out what your why was. And that's when we delved into, well, my why is to buy an apartment. And then when we worked out what that looks like, I was like, nah, that's not my why, right? That's not my why. And so when I talk about freedom, I'm talking about freedom from all different areas and aspects within your life. I'm talking about freedom of your body, freedom of your mind, freedom of your spirituality, freedom of all of the things that weigh heavy on you, all of the things that you don't talk about that are eating you up inside that you need to share, all of the healing that gets to be done, right? You know that there's aspects of you that you're hiding from yourself, that you're hiding from the world. You know that you're playing too small, right? You know that there's a bigger life out there for you. But the reason that you're not tapping into that bigger life is because you're fucking scared. You're scared to be seen. You're scared to be vulnerable. You're scared to put yourself out there for fear of judgment, for fear of rejection, for fear of what if it doesn't work, for fear of failure, for fear of what if everyone laughs at me, right? So as a result, you hold yourself back. And that's not living a life of freedom. Like living a life of freedom is fucking going all in on yourself, trusting yourself, backing yourself. It's knowing that everything is working out for you, not to you, but for you. Even if the new business adventure that you take off doesn't quite land, it's okay, because the next thing that you're going to lead into, it's all going to make sense, and you're going to realize that that old situation, that past experience was actually supposed to happen in order for this next thing to happen. And so it's all about this liberation of full freedom of every area of your life. And that's really what this new branding is all about. It's all about really tapping into every single part of who you are and letting it flourish and being completely free from all definitions of society around being a woman, around being a leader, around being a mother, around being a friend, around being a sister. Like there's so many hats that we have to wear, and each of those hats, according to society, have different rules. Oh, you're a mother, you can't go out and party. You're a mother, you can't be irresponsible. Oh, you're going to quit your job and you're going to start a business, but that's like that's really unknown, and that's like the financial stability, it could not be from that, right? Just get married, find a guy that's going to provide for you. Oh, you're going to have children. Oh, well, you're definitely going to sell your business then, right? Because you can't be a mother and have children. And it's like, no, let's fuck off everybody else's opinions of who we're supposed to be, of how we're supposed to show up, of what we're supposed to chase, and just go after it ourselves. That is what the Creatress of Freedom is all about. It's just about putting those blinkers on and not worrying about what anybody else says, and not being swayed by it, and holding love and compassion, but also holding that fucking pink bubble of protection around yourself, allowing people to have their projections and their opinions, but knowing that nothing's going to come through your little bubble that you are protecting yourself from. And so how do we tap in to being the Creatress of Freedom? Well, we fucking own ourselves, right? We also tap into the world of the unknown, the spirituality, the sexuality, the new age modalities. Yeah, we open up conversations and topics that are not talked about, that are not normal, air quotation marks, to talk about amongst society, amongst community. And Creatress of Freedom is all about building this community of women that are brave enough, that have the courage, that have the balls to go first, that have the balls to have these conversations with their friends about their relationships, to have conversations with their friends about the deepest and the darkest things that they are holding on to, that they hold, the shadows that they have within their life, the shame that they hold on certain topics. That is what the Creatress of Freedom is all about. And I'm so excited because I know that this is going to be a huge shift for so many of you tuning in. We are going to be bringing in guest speakers. So if you are someone that wants to come on and share your story and use this as a platform to liberate your throat chakra and tell your story, share whatever it is that you've got shame about, because there is no shame around anything, then please let me know, because I would love for this to be a safe space for you to come on and share your story, because your unique story is going to impact the next person that listens to this. So whilst, yes, I'm going to bring my journey and the experiences that I've gone through, I really desire this podcast to become a community where you get to come on and share your story as well. And so if that lights you up and you're like, oh my gosh, I would so love to come on and share my story. I know that my story can help other women because of things I've been through. Then please let this be the space for you. I would love that so much. So strap on in, tune in. Let's go on this beautiful adventure together where we just liberate ourselves. We stop asking for permission from everybody else, and we just go for it. So, babe, welcome to becoming the Creatress of Freedom. I can't wait to journey with you over this next season. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.